The Mouse and the Sand Grain. It was a quiet morning in the meadow, the sun rising just above the horizon, casting soft golden light across the land. Among the soft whispers of the wind, a small mouse named Pip scurried across the sand, his tiny paws kicking up little puffs of dust as he went. Pip had always been a creature of great energy, always on the move, never one to settle. But today, as he walked along the dry, wind-swept beach, he could not help but feel a little unimpressed. "Silly sand," he muttered under his breath, pausing to paw at the ground. "What good is it? Always shifting, always slipping through my paws like it doesn't even matter." He let out a small huff of frustration, shaking off the grains that clung to his fur. How could something so tiny ever be useful? Pip, proud of his cleverness and quick mind, had always looked down on things smaller than himself. To him, sand was little more than an annoyance, a thing to be ignored. But that morning, something in the air felt different. The wind carried a strange whisper, one that seemed to beckon him, urging him to look again at the very thing he had dismissed. He sat for a moment, pondering, and in that moment he saw it, something remarkable. The wind swept across the sand, leaving behind the faintest impression of a shape. It was small, barely noticeable, but to Pip's sharp eyes, it was enough. It was a tiny fortress, no bigger than a mouse, yet perfectly formed. Curious, Pip dug into the sand, his paws shifting the grains with a newfound respect. The more he dug, the more he realized just how many grains of sand there were. Endless, countless, and each one connected to the others in ways he had never imagined. The more he worked, the more the structure began to grow. What had started as a tiny mound transformed into something extraordinary, a strong, resilient fortress, standing tall against the wind. Pip paused, admiring his creation. His small fortress, built with nothing more than the very thing he had once mocked. The sand had not only held together, it had transformed under his paws into something powerful, something real. He smiled, a soft, humble smile, as the first rays of the sun hit the tiny walls he had built. It wasn't perfect, but it was strong, stronger than he had ever realized. And in that moment, Pip understood. Sometimes, he whispered to himself, even the smallest things hold more power than we could ever know. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Pip sat in his fortress, feeling the warmth of the day settle around him. The sand, once a thing of mockery, was now his ally, his tool, his foundation. And with each passing moment, he knew he had learned something invaluable. The world was full of small things, things that seemed insignificant, things that were easily overlooked. But with patience, respect, and a little bit of work, even the smallest grain of sand could build something great. And with that thought, Pip smiled and settled in. His tiny fortress, a symbol of what was possible when we stop underestimating the power in the things around us. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help our channel grow.